Cities suck. The tiny spaces, the commute, the horrible smells from someone's takeaway in a sewer, it all sucks. For all the innovations we've come up with, for all the smart technology in medicine and so on, how have we not figured out cities, the places where these days, 50% of us live? But cities don't have to, and we also don't have to level them and start from scratch either. So let's look at the areas where we could improve cities the most. First is living spaces. It's no secret that large cities have entire neighborhoods that commute between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. In fact, when I used to live closer to the city center, every evening traffic on the main road heading to town didn't die down until even 7:30 sometimes. Because of this, the space at home barely got used. So one of the suggestions is to have places built with common areas for cooking and spending time. There's a double reason for this. One, apartments become cheaper as you pay for less space and a shareholder of the common area obviously, and you might get to interact with neighbors as well. In fact, in some apartments, the area devoted to cooking is as much as 20% of all square meterage of footage, and that costs money. So one could have a microwave in their place and share ovens, sinks, stoves, and so on with others. And from the savings, even hire staff to clean in case you're worried about the disorderliness and untidiness that this could end up with. Another big improvement is what is called superillas or superblocks in Barcelona. This concept is based around pedestrianizing blocks of 3x3 or more, but the maths works better with 3x3, and reducing speed limits to 16 kilometers per hour, that's 10 miles per hour, and limiting traffic to local cars for the interior of the blocks. Barcelona went even one step further, in fact, and in the process of making the interior of the 3x3 blocks fully pedestrian. Finally, make buildings medium density and low rise, 4 to 5 floors maximum. Build like Paris and Barcelona, not like Dubai. This is for 3 reasons. Concrete, glass, and steel, the materials needed for tall buildings, increase heat at street level. They decrease the amount of trees that you can grow because of that shade, and increase commute times because of the number of people that will be traveling to and from the same geographical area. And if possible, stick to similar architecture. This doesn't have to be fancy, but trying to make areas pretty, if not beautiful even, has made places better to live. 2. Retail. Make retail smaller. I think we can all relate that the experience of finding new shops, different shops, can be quite fun. In fact, smaller shops can have even more character than national or international chains. This is even more important if you think that as stores get bigger, they need bigger parking lots, bigger amenities, and if you're like me, you hate the grey emptiness that are parking lots. And again, this also creates choke points in the transport network, because those parking lots can only have so many entrances and exits, usually one each. The other big idea here is to develop a zoning policy. This limits the size of commercial buildings, meaning no behemoth retail park, and instead a better built mid-sized retail neighborhood, which even boosts traffic from one store to another. Hoping that zoning policy there didn't excite you on too much, but let's go on to transport, number 3. If you try asking someone in traffic how it feels to be in traffic, the answer is likely to be a mumble followed by a stare that'll teach you never to ask that question again. It is not pleasant. Partly because you grind down to a halt on roads that you'd think are supposed to handle a lot more cars anyway, so you wonder what's the point of such wide roads in the first place? Well, there's 2 solutions here. 1. Stop building such wide roads. It sounds counterintuitive, but wider roads have a higher chance of having traffic jams. A study by the University of Toronto and the London School of Economics points out that widening a road by adding lanes to it will lead to an increase in travel on that route until the same level of congestion from before the widening is reached. This is partly because people adapt to the wider road by using more, and as more people do that, it leads to congestion. Build more filters like roundabouts and tolls, and build some workplaces closer to residential areas, smaller centers of economic activity spread out around the larger city rather than all in the center of it all. Another way is to build some of those workplaces away from the other workplaces. Look at Paris, where the financial district of La Défense is nowhere near the rest of Paris. It may not have been intentional, but it has helped. The other idea here is to build public transport. It not only allows you to read a book, talk on the phone, or do something else than just focusing on driving the car, but transport links have also been shown to reduce poverty in neighborhoods. It's easier to go to work when you can take the bus rather than walk or rely on an old car. And if possible, build underground. The terrible motorway rings around London have separated neighborhoods. They've turned areas into undesirable quarters and made noise pollution unbearable. Let's learn from that. And finally, energy and environment. Parks, green belts and water, trees lining the streets, back gardens and solar panels. Some of those you've seen in some of the best neighborhoods around the world. Some of the best cities have a lot of them. Trees gather water into the soil and that could be harnessed to top up your water reservoir. Better water collection, more greenery. Nobody's ever complained that there's too many trees around here. And if properly managed, those trees won't get in anyone's way and will even protect pedestrians if lying by the side of the road. Better energy management with batteries like the ones Tesla came out with a couple of years ago, and solar panels can cut down energy costs and also annoying power cables. All in all, if we build for the future, might as well build properly and put some thought into the places we live, right? And to end with a quote, the physician can bury his mistakes, but the architect can only advise his client to plant vines. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, pop a comment down below with your thoughts about how to make cities better places to live, and subscribe if you love this kind of content. See you next time.